Welcome, Middlers, to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I take you on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. I am a Reiki master teacher, a spiritual and business mentor, and of course, a psychic medium. And I am here to share my story and help you tap into your extraordinary abilities. Join me every Wednesday as we dive into the realms of intuition, energy healing, and all things mystical. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the magical waters, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration, guidance, and a whole lot of lessons and laughter along the way. Let's get started. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to episode 272. My name is Stephanie, and I am the medium in the middle. Welcome if you're new. I tell my entire story from episode 1. If you are developing in your spiritual path and you want to feel not so alone, pause this episode, go back to episode 1. 1 to 10 will really help you if you are realizing you're a medium, realizing you're intuitive, not sure what's going on with you. This podcast is made so that you don't feel so alone. But if you are a middler returning, hello. I am back with an episode I told you I would make. So here is how to practice Reiki. I made a 4-part series on how to practice mediumship. So if you are a developing medium and you want a step-by-step on how to get better, check out episode 264, 265, 266, and 267. That's part 1 through 4. I break it down so that you can take these tools and apply them to your mediumship development. I also host a monthly mediumship practice circle that's coming up this Saturday, July 19th. So if you want a little more structure in your practice, jump in on one of those circles. I host them every month. But in that series, I said that I would do the same kind of thing, the breakdown of how to practice Reiki. Now, I know you're like, Steph, I know how to practice. There are a lot of details that people miss when they're practicing. Especially if you want to work in Reiki, your paying clients will not tell you feedback. They'll just never come back again. When you're practicing, you want as much feedback as possible. And I find that people just say, "How was that? Good. How do you feel? Relaxed. Okay, bye." You didn't learn anything from that feedback. So knowing what to practice on, what to get better at, what questions to ask at the end of every single practice session, we're going to break it down here. So I broke this down into my top 6 tips on how to practice Reiki, and each step builds on the last one. So if you are brand new, follow from step 1. If you've been doing Reiki for a while, you might want to jump in at step 3 or 4. But no matter where you are in your Reiki journey, these tips will help you get better and better so that you can work with Reiki better, you can provide better services to your clients, or just get better doing Reiki for your friends and family. And in case you aren't familiar with who I am and why I have the qualifications to help you with your Reiki development, I am a Reiki master teacher since 2019, and I've been teaching Reiki regularly twice a month for the last 5 years. I've taught over 220 courses. I have over 500 students. So I teach a lot of Reiki. I work with a lot of students. I mentor a lot of Reiki practitioners. I think this round of mentorship coming up is round 18 of my mentorship program, Mentees in the Middle. That will be opening very soon. So if you're looking for a mentor, I will be officially launching that next week, but the waitlist is getting it first. So this is why I've been working with a lot of people. I feel very grateful that I get to do a lot of Reiki. Reiki is my full-time job, and it has been I am in year 6 of business now. So that is why I have all this information to share with you. I do a lot of Reiki. I teach a lot of Reiki. I work with developing people in their Reiki practice. So I'm bringing all that knowledge to you here on the podcast. Before we jump into that, I have a few just brief announcements. Next week, there will be a podcast episode, and then the podcast is going on a 2-week break because I'm taking time off. Yes, I am. I am finally doing what I said I would do and taking time off in summer. The podcast will be back on August 13th, and that is the podcast's 6th birthday. Medium in the Middle is turning 6 years old on August 13th, so I'll be back with the birthday episode. If you are looking for Reiki trainings, the August Reiki trainings are up. Reiki Level 1 is happening August 9th and 10th. Reiki Level 2 is happening August 16th and 17th. So that is all there if you want some Reiki trainings this summer. My virtual sessions are full for July, but I do have availability still in August. So if you wanted to book any sessions, you can do that as well. Okay, let's jump into these 6 tips on how to practice Reiki. This can be after your Reiki Level 1 course, after your Reiki Level 2 course. You do not have to have learned from me for these tips to be helpful, so any student can use these tips. This is if you want to get better with Reiki, if you want to learn how to get your sessions to be longer, if you want to master your client experience, or if you just want to improve your skills. You don't always have to work in Reiki. You don't have to want to become a Reiki practitioner to get better. This can be for your friends and family, but these tips will also get you ready if you do want to maybe one day work in Reiki. So, tip number 1. This is where I want you to start practicing getting in and out of hand positions comfortably. So, some of the hand positions are a little more difficult to get into. For example, the back of the head. You have to roll people's head from side to side to get your hands behind their head. Then you have to find the edge of their skull to put your fingers, and you're kind of getting set up. And I know some people feel uncomfortable with hand position 3, the back of the head. So if that is you, maybe you practice on your kid, your husband, your mom, whoever, just getting in and out of hand positions 3 over and over and over again until you become comfortable with it. So you want to be able to move into these hand positions nice and smoothly and comfortably. So if you need to practice a certain hand position over and over and over again, and you can ask your volunteer, how was that? Was this better? Is this more comfortable? Was that weird? Is this okay? You're getting that feedback in the moment because you have a little guinea pig laying there that just wants to help you learn. So after you have practiced the hand positions that you feel maybe the most uncomfortable in, then I want you to focus on becoming very comfortable with each area of the body. So you're going to work from the head to the toes, and I want you to be comfortable with all the hand positions on the head. So what does that mean? That means that everyone you practice on, you're just working on their head. You're working on their head. You're working on their head. Okay, you have the head down pat. Now what? Now work on the arms, the arms, the arms. Everyone you work on, you're working on the arms. Now what? The legs, the legs, the legs. Everyone you work on, you're working on the legs. Okay, now what? The belly, the belly, the belly. So pick a body part, get comfortable with it, and then move on. It's a lot easier to learn how to Reiki one area at a time than trying to master the entire body at once. Break it down, bite-sized pieces, make this easy on you. Learn one area of the body at a time. So this leads me into tip number 2 is after you are comfortable with all of the areas of the body, then I want you to focus on your hand positions 1 to 10 or from head to toes, however you learned in your Reiki course. And you are now focusing on the full body. So once we have each section of the body comfortable, now we're working on a full body session. And if your goal is to work in Reiki or just to get better in Reiki, your end goal is a 60-minute session. So what does that mean? You can work on doing a full body session for 20 minutes, a full body session for 30 minutes, a full body session for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 55 minutes. Until you hit that 60-minute mark, you are building and building and building until you are able to hold the Reiki for that long, you know what to do for that long, and making sure that you are able to cover the entire body during your session. So tip number 2 is working on that full body, building to a session that is 60 minutes. Okay, and that leads directly into tip number 3, which is setting up your practice volunteer. So now we want to get to the details. So we want to focus on, what does your volunteer need? Do they need a blanket? Do they need a pillow? Do they need something under their knees? We want to start to learn what makes people comfortable. You want to start to learn, what do you automatically offer without someone having to ask? Is your music at the right level? Do you have a chair ready for yourself? Is everything set up that you need? So before you begin, you want to have this all taken care of. Especially if you're practicing, have your notes ready and with you. Have your notes printed, have them on the floor beside you so that you can look at them. Put your notes on the volunteer's belly, put your notes on the volunteer's legs, put your notes on the volunteer's face. It doesn't matter where you put your notes, but put your notes right in front of you so that you can see what you're supposed to be doing and what comes next. So you want to start to work on practicing your order of operations, making sure you're not missing any steps, and making sure you're fully setting up your volunteer to be comfortable. So this is also where you can ask for feedback. Hey, is that comfortable? Hey, would you like another pillow? How are your knees? Would you like a pillow under your knees? So if your 4 volunteers all ask for a pillow under their knees, on volunteer number 5, what are you going to do? You're going to have that pillow under their knees already ready to go. If volunteer 1, 2, and 3 told you your music was too loud, what are you going to do? On volunteer 4, you're already going to have the music lower. These are the little tiny details that are going to help make your experience even better. And you're not going to learn that unless people tell you. So when you're working on your volunteers, this is the time that you get to test things out. Do you prefer when people have a pillow under their knee? Do you prefer when the blanket is thin or thick or there's something on their feet? What is the easiest way for you to work and the most comfortable way for your volunteer to be? And notice that I'm saying the word volunteer. Let's remember that these are volunteers. They are your friends and family here to help you learn. They are not a paying customer. You are not a professional yet. They are not expecting anything from you. They are just there to help you. So even if you don't give them any Reiki and you just want to practice setting up and tearing down, you just want to practice putting a pillow under their knee, you just want to practice whatever you're needing, that is okay. They are your volunteer. So whatever you need to practice, this person is here for you. So you don't have to worry if the Reiki isn't any good yet, if they didn't get much Reiki, if it wasn't very relaxing. The point of practice is all about you. What do you need? What do you need to practice? What do you need to learn? So don't worry about the volunteer's experience. They are not paying clients. They are there because they love you and they want to help you. So remember that as you're practicing. It's okay to have your notes on their belly. A sheet of paper does not hurt anyone. And if anyone was expecting a full session, perfectly polished, nice and good to go, they would go and pay someone for a full session. But they're not paying you because they're your volunteer. So make sure that the exchange is you get feedback from them. Which leads me directly into tip number 4, which is that because they're your volunteers, you are going to ask them for as much feedback as possible. Now, I always find that people say, "What did you feel?" And when people are like, "Oh, nothing," they're like, "Oh." So you need to ask more questions. You need to ask very specific questions. And also you need to ask questions that are not yes or no questions, because your volunteers are going to say, "That felt good. I felt relaxed." Great. You learned nothing from that feedback. Everyone's going to feel good and everyone's going to feel relaxed, but you are learning. You are practicing things. So you want to ask specific questions to get better and better. So my biggest tip for this is that you want to ask people how they feel. How do you feel? Not what did you feel. They don't have to feel anything. They don't have to feel fireworks or fairy dust or dancing leprechauns in the back. But we want to know how they feel now. Do they feel relaxed? Do they feel calm? Do they feel heavy? Do they feel light? Also, when you say, "What do you feel?" it gives the expectation that they were supposed to feel something. So then the volunteer maybe thinks they did something wrong if they didn't feel fireworks. Or did you do something wrong because there was no fireworks coming out of your hands? So we want to ask more specific questions. When you're practicing, your goal is to receive as much feedback as possible because this is how you're going to get better. So, like I said, I really recommend you ask open ended questions that need a response that's not just yes or no. So, did you like it? Yeah. Do you feel relaxed? Yeah. Was that enjoyable? Yeah. Not very helpful. So, I highly recommend you have 10 questions ready. And at the end of your session, you tell all your volunteers, hey, at the end, I'm going to ask you some questions. Your feedback is so important to me so that I can learn and get better. Please tell me anything unfiltered. This is the time that I need to know. So if there's anything you need to tell me, please do not hesitate to tell me. So then you're going to ask questions like, what was your favorite hand position and why? What was your least favorite hand position and why? Did I lean on you at any time? Did I press too hard? Did I breathe on you? Was it comfortable when I was working around your head? Is there anything I could have done better? Is there any way I could have made you more comfortable? Was the music okay? Did you have enough blankets, enough pillows? Were you cold? Were you hot? Did I make too much noise when I was moving around you? Did you find I was making too much noise? Or did I scare you when I touched your feet all of a sudden because I was at your head? I noticed that you jerked a little bit. Oh, okay, so maybe I should walk my hands down your body. Okay, I'm going to make a note of that. Is there anything I could have done to make your experience more relaxing? Is there any hand position you felt like I could have stayed on forever? Is there any area you think I could practice more? Is there anything else you want to tell me that you think would help me get better? Those are the type of questions you want to ask your volunteers that will give you a lot of information that will help you get better. Also, pay attention to the hand positions that people say are their favorite and their least favorite. Usually, their favorite hand position is the one you were the most uncomfortable in or the one you didn't want to stay on. And usually, their least favorite hand position was the one you knew they needed the most. Again, teaching you about energy, teaching you about what you feel versus what they feel. Again, teaching you about, oh, they said I could have stayed at their knees forever. I also felt like I could have stayed at their knees forever. Learning, knowledge, we have to ask very specific questions. So avoid yes or no questions. Make your volunteer say feedback back to you. And I want you to think about this as your opportunity to get this feedback, especially if you want to work with clients one day. Your paying clients will never tell you any of this. Your paying clients won't tell you, hey, you breathed on me, you leaned on me, I was cold the whole time. Actually, you were leaning on my arm and I felt your chest the whole time. Oh, you touched my feet. I don't like when people touch my feet. You didn't tell me you were touching my feet. Your paying clients will never tell you that. They will just never come back to you. Once you get to paying clients land, they don't give you feedback. Their feedback is they come back or they don't come back. You don't want to risk losing clients because every single one of your client was cold and no one told you that. This is why when you are practicing with your volunteers, it is so important to get all of this covered when you're still practicing, because you don't want to get to the point where you're losing clients because someone didn't tell you, hey, you pressed really hard on my face. I didn't like that. Out of all the tips that I'm giving you today, I believe number 4 is the most important, because this is going to give you the most information that is going to help you get better. And it's going to help you learn so much about how you work with the energy and how to really form your sessions to be the best that they could possibly be. You want to learn that in the volunteer stage. You don't want to learn that when people never come back. Okay, so now we're building. We've practiced getting in and out of the hand positions. We are getting comfortable with the whole body. We're practicing setting up our volunteer, making sure they're comfortable. We're asking them all of these questions at the end of the session. Tip number 5 is now we want to start to develop your little speech. So, what do you say at the start of your session? What do you say at the end of your session? How do you provide your client with aftercare? We want to make that, again, a nice and smooth process. So, what I used to say to my friends and family is, okay, I'm going to go into that room, and when you come into the room, you're a client, and I'm the Reiki practitioner, so pretend you don't know me. Oh, hello, Susie, welcome. Have you ever had Reiki before? Oh, you haven't? Okay, let me tell you about it. And I'm going to pretend that I don't know my best friend who's being my volunteer, and I'm going to work through my speech, getting them on the table, getting them comfortable. And then at the end, making sure they know their aftercare, telling them to drink water, all of the things, and then getting them back out the door. So we want to make our process smooth. We're putting it all together. So we want to make sure that our process is smooth and that we've ironed out all the kinks. Which leads me to tip number 6, which is putting it all together. So once you've practiced each section on its own and you've mastered each section, you've decided how you want to start, how you want to end, what questions you want to ask, how you flow through the whole body, what's comfortable for you, what's comfortable for your client, what do you like to offer, blankets, pillows, music. What is the best way that you work? Now, number 6 is putting that all together. Now it's a nicely wrapped, perfectly packed package, 60 minutes down pat, bada bing, bada boom. But it takes time to build to that perfectly packaged session. That's why this is tip number 6. You're going to break down the session step by step, and it doesn't matter how long you stay at each step. Step number 1 and 2 is going to take you quite a while. I was on step number 1 and 2, I would say, for about 3 or 4 months. I wasn't on step 6 till about 6 or 7 months after my Reiki trainings. And I was practicing nearly every single day. Maybe I'd miss a day here and there, but I was practicing on anyone and everyone that would let me practice on them. Actually, make that bonus tip number 7. Practice on everyone that will let you practice on them. Ask everybody, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your friends' sisters, your best friend's mom, anyone. Also, a bonus tip number 8, practice on anyone that has anything wrong with them. So if someone has a broken arm, go feel their broken arm. Someone has a headache, go feel their headache. If someone has an upset stomach, go Reiki their stomach. Learning how all of these things feel will also really help you. So those are my 6 tips on how to practice Reiki plus 2 bonus tips. Work on this 6 to 9 months after you get your Reiki trainings. This takes a while to build up to, but especially if you want to work in Reiki, this means that by the time you are taking clients a year after your Reiki level 2, you have mastered everything and you won't lose any clients because you don't feel like you're just learning, you're not feeling like you're inexperienced, you're not missing steps, forgetting things. Your process is smooth, polished, and delivered. So that will also make you very successful when you're trying to build your client list. As I'm recording this, I'm like, why am I giving away all this information for free? But I want you to become better. I don't want everything to be behind a paywall of things. You should have learned all of this in your Reiki trainings, to be honest. I teach my Reiki students this. So I'm sharing this information with you because I want everyone to do good Reiki and learn how to practice, because I see so many people who are just trying to pretend to be a professional and they skip all of these steps. And I've also gone to people who are working professionals and they've done some of these things. And I'm like, oh, you did this. I didn't like that. I'm not going back to you. So I've experienced it on both ends. So I hope this information helped you on your Reiki development journey. Remember, it takes probably 10 times longer than you think it's going to take to develop in anything, in Reiki, in spirituality, in mediumship. These things are years, not days, not weeks. So give yourself time. Give yourself 3 months to learn this, 3 months to get better at this, 2 months to work on this. No one's perfect by 5 p.m. So don't put that expectations on yourself. I love that quote that says something along the lines of, we overestimate what we can achieve in a week, but underestimate what we can achieve in a year. Focus on your yearly growth, not your weekly growth. You'll see a lot more improvements. Again, if you want to learn Reiki, if this inspired you to learn Reiki, I teach Reiki every single month. Come join me. And I have a lot more tips that I share in my courses as well. I will leave all the links you need down below in the show notes if you want to book an appointment with me virtually or in person in Banff, Alberta. I offer Reiki sessions, intuitive sessions. I offer card readings. I offer Akashic record readings, Psych K to work on limiting beliefs. We work on that with energy work. And my mentorship will be opening next week. So if you are looking for a mentor for the last half of the year, it will be the last time I open Mentees in the Middle in 2025. It'll start in August and we will work together until November. So keep an eye out on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com, or on my Instagram at mediuminthemiddle. All the information will be posted there. But until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.